watching this video. So in this video, we'll be doing question 2 of Mathematics Paper 1, September 2023, from the Free State Province. So these are series. Yeah. So now, question 2, read as follows. Consider a series. So you are given this series here. A plus D, A plus 2D, and so on. So now, 2.1.1 read as follows. Prove that the sum of the first n terms of this arithmetic series will be given by this formula here. Right? So, we are given the series, this one here. It's an arithmetic series, right? So they are saying that, show that the sum of the first n terms of this sequence is given by this thing here. What is the first n terms? Okay, so you are told that this is an arithmetic series. So you know the general term for arithmetic series is Tn is equal to, it's in the form A plus n minus 1 times D, right? This is the general term, the nth term, right? So now, let's say now, we want term number 1 here. So T1 is equal to A plus, put 1 there, 1 minus 1 times D. This is A plus 0D, this is A. Because 0D is 0. So your first term is A. So here is your first term, A here. Right? Let's go for term number 2. T2 is equal to A plus, substitute 2 there, 2 minus 1 times D. So it's A plus D, right? Because this will be 1. This is your second term, this one here. Here is it. Let's go to term number 3. T3 is equal to A plus, substitute 3 there, 3 minus 1 times D. So this will be A, the answer will be D. So it will be 2D. So, I'm not sure if you are noticing. On this one, you had no D, it was 0D, right? It was just A. And then on the second term, you added what? You added D, 1D. And then on the third term, you added another D, right? Which means the difference between these two terms is D. The difference between the two terms is D. You know arithmetic should have a common ratio, right? Or common difference of D. Here is it. So now, to get the next term, you must add D all the time, right? So if you want T4 is going to be, this is T3, you will add D on this one, right? So your T4 will be called A plus 3D. Your T5 is called A plus 4D. Your T6 is called A plus 5D, and so on. So to get the next term of the sequence, you must add D all the time. So these are the first 5 terms, right? But now, you are told what? You are told that here on this series have n terms, right? You have what? You have n terms. Because they are trying to find a sum for n terms, which now you must find Tn. So your Tn is this one here, is your last term of this sequence. Your Tn is called A plus n minus 1 plus D is your Tn. So now, if you want a sum of n terms, you must add all of them. So the sum of n terms will be called the first term, which is A, plus the second term, which is A plus D, plus the third term, which is A plus 2D, right? And so on. When I say so on, it include T3, T4, T5, T6, and so on. Plus, at the very end, the last term. What is your last term? The last term is Tn. It's your nth term. Because you are told that you want the sum of n terms. So the last term will be Tn, right? Which is this, which is what you have here. This is your Tn. Your Tn is given by this. So now, let's ask ourselves, this is the sum of n terms, right? So now, let's say, for some reason, Sn is called A plus D plus A plus 2D plus, and so on, plus, see, plus again, and plus again. So the last term is your Tn here, right? We said the difference between the two terms is D. The difference is D, the difference will be D, and so on. So, if you're adding D all the time, if you're adding D to get the next term, right? Let's say you're adding D to get the next term. If you want to get the term behind it, you subtract D. Because to go forward, you're adding D, but to move backwards, you're subtracting D. You subtract D to get the term behind that one or before that one, I don't know. So now, if you're saying we have Tn here, the term in front of it will be Tn minus D, because to move from here to there, you must add D. So if you want to get Tn, which is on the previous one, you added D, which means the term before it was Tn minus D. And the term before this one, it will be Tn minus 2 times D. So this is the term. This is the term before this one. Because you can see if you add D here, you get this one. If you add D there, you get that one. Which is this is consistent with what we've been explaining there. So the difference between these is also D. It is D. So, in short, we can say now the sum of n terms is equal to A plus D, right? Plus A plus 2D plus, let's say, other terms maybe in between, plus Tn minus 2D, right? Plus Tn minus D. This is the term before the last term, and this is the last term. So now we added the terms of this sequence from the first term up until the very end, right? It would be the same even if we added the terms from, the answer would come out the same even if you can start adding from the back going this side. So the order in which you add terms, the order of operations, doesn't matter when you're adding. So in addition, the order of your terms doesn't matter. So we can get the same sum by starting with the very last one. So for example, I can say that here, the Sn is equal to what? So also, what you should keep in mind, these things that I've added here, these are n terms of a series. In total, this is 1, 2, 3. When you count them, they count up to n, right? So now we can say this same sum, it should be the same even if you say Tn here and put this term after that, which is Tn minus D, right? Plus put this one, Tn minus 2D plus dot plus it will be this one, A plus 2D, A plus D plus A. So what I'm saying is the order in which you add the terms of the series is not important. For example, if you add terms from 1 to 30, it should be the same even if you start from 30 and go back to 1. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 up to 30. It should be the same even if you say 30 plus 29 plus 28 up to 1. It should be the exact same thing. So this is the exact same thing that we do here. So what do we do next? We add these two things. These sums of ours. So Sn plus Sn is 2Sn is equal to A plus Tn. It will be A plus Tn, right? A plus Tn, it will be A plus Tn. So these two will cancel out. Plus A plus Tn, so you have A plus Tn. These two will go away. So the same thing that happens, it will happen here in the middle as well. Plus Tn plus A, we have Tn plus A, right? These two will cancel. Plus Tn plus A, we have Tn plus A. These two cancel, and at the very end you have your Tn, which is this one, plus A. So now, what this tells you is 2Sn is called A plus Tn, which is the first one, plus this one, A plus Tn, plus A plus Tn, plus, oh sorry, should have been dot, oh, should have been plus, dot, plus, right, which is include all the terms in between, dot, plus A plus Tn, which is this one, I've arranged this, plus A plus Tn, plus A plus Tn, which is the last one. So it's 2n here, sorry. It's 2n. It's 2Sn. So here you are adding A's plus Tn's. And if you count all of them, so this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and that last one is the nth one, right? This is the first one, this is the second, this is the third. This one is the nth one. This one is the nth minus 1, n minus 2, 1, whatever that is. So if you add all of them, if you are adding n of these things, so if you add all of them, you get 2Sn is equal to n of the A's plus Tn, because there are n in total. So you have adding 5 of x's, x plus x plus x plus x, and 5 of them. It will be 5x. So if you're adding x, n x's, which is the number of x that you'll be adding at n, your answer will be nx, right? So now, here you're adding these things, those a plus Tn, and there's what? There's n of them. So it should be n of those things, right? So what do you do? Divide by 2, divide by 2. So Sn is equal to n over 2 times a plus Tn. Right? What is Tn? Tn is this thing here. So we say our Sn is equal to n over 2 into a plus Tn, which is a plus n minus 1 times d. Simplify this. Sn is equal to n over 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 times d. We have proved this. This is exactly that. It's not bad. It's not bad. So now we go to 2.1.2, right? So you are given a series. So we are given this series. It starts here. We are given this series which starts here, right? So you're told that the sum of the first 20 terms of the series is 1,680. So you're told that the sum of 20 terms of the series is 1,680. Fine. So they're saying calculate the value of x. They wanted to find the value of x. So this series, what is this series? This is an arithmetic series, right? So your A, your first term is what? Is 2 raised x, right? And your D, how do you find it? You say T2 minus T1. A is the first term. So your T2 is what? Is 2 of 2 raised x minus 2 raised x. So you have 2 of these. You subtract 1. So you'll be left with 2 raised x, 1 of it. Because we have 2 of 2 raised x, and then you subtract the 2 raised x, so you're left with this. This is your d. So now you know that the sum of 20 terms is equal to 1,680, right? How do you find the sum of 20 terms? Substitute 20 there and all your things. So s of 20 will be equal to 20 over 2 into 2a. What is your a? Your first term, which is 2 raised x, plus n minus 1, which is 20 minus 1 times 2 raised x. This is your sum of 20 terms, right? But you know what the value of this. The value of this is 1,680. So you have 1,680 is equal to 10 times 2 times 2 raised x plus 19 times 2 raised x. Right? So you solve for x divided by 10 both sides. So we have 168 is equal to this times that. So we are adding 2 of these to 19 of them. So we have 21 of these things. Right? So what are the factors of 168? Let's find them. Where is the calculator? The factors of 168 is 21 times 2 raised 3, right? Is equal to 21 times 2 raised x, which is this part, is this part, which is this part, is that part, which is 2 raised x is equal to 2 raised 3, which is x is equal to 3. Done with this one. So your x is equal to 3. So we move to 2.2. So I'll clean the board and then we go to 2.2. So now we're going to do 2.2. So you're given the sum equation of some sequence or series to be that, right? So they say find T8. So we are given the sum equation to be that of some sequence of some series, right? So they wanted to find the sum, the value of term number 8. Okay. Let's say we are given 2 terms. Actually, let's say you are given a sum of 2 terms, right? So let's say the sum of one term is equal to 4, right? The sum of 2 terms is equal to 6. So let's say they ask you find the T1 and T2. Let's say that's what they want. Let's say they say find T1 and T2, right? So the sum of one term, you only added the first term A. You added the first term A, which is, you only added one term, that was T1, right? And then now, if you want the sum of 2 terms, you added 2 terms. What are those terms? Is term 1 and term 2. So you get the sum of 2 terms by adding the term 1 and term 2. Right? So your term 1, which is what they ask you, is the same as the first, is the sum of one term. Right? Okay. Now, term number 2, how are you going to get number 2? You know that the sum of two terms is the same, you got it by adding term 1 and term 2. Right? Since you have sum of one term, which is equal to term 1, right? What you can do to find the value of term 2, which is this, you can say, okay, I'll find the difference between the second term and the first term. That difference will be the second term. I'm not sure if that makes sense. So, to find T2, you must say now the sum of 2 terms, because 1, add term 1 and term 2, and then you remove the sum of one term. The sum of one term will remove the first term from this one, and you'll be left with the second term. So you use the similar logic here. You are given Sn, right? So now they say find term number 8. So what you can do is, you can find the sum of 8 terms, right? So now those are the terms that add from term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4, term 5, term 6, term 7, and term 8, right? On that value of sum of 8 terms, subtract the value of sum of 7 terms. So now a sum of 7 terms will be everything else excluding that last one, the 8th one. So now when you subtract the sum of 8 terms by the sum of 7 terms, you'll be left with the 8th term. Because if you say sum of 8 terms, right, it will be T1 plus T2 and so on up until T8, T7 and T8. All the terms there. So the sum of 7 terms would be T1, T2 and so on up until T7. There's no term 8. So the difference between this and that will cancel everything else and you'll be left with term 8. And then that will be term 8. So to find T8, it should be the sum of 8 terms minus sum of 7 terms, so that you are left with 8 terms. So now to do this, we say, okay, T8 would be equal to S8, which is what? 1 over 4 to 8 squared plus 8 minus 1 over 4 into 7 squared plus 7. So the answer that you will get here will be the value of term number 8. So how does this go? 5 into 8 squared plus 8 minus 7 squared plus 7. The answer is 4. That means the 8th term of the sequence is 8, is 4. So you added the 8 terms and added 7 terms. So now since you added 8 terms here, subtracting the sum of 7 terms from this one will only leave out the 8th one, which is not incorporated there. So I think it should be that. So now we're going to do 2.3. 2.3 read as follows. Consider the series. So you are given this series here, right? Calculate the sum of the first 10 terms of the series. They want you to find the sum of the first 10 terms of the series. The first thing is to identify the series. So our A on the series is 32, right? It looks like a geometric series. So out of a geometric series, if it's a geometric series, T2 divided by T1 should be equal to T3 over T2. So our R, which is T2, is what? Minus 16 over 32. Is it equal to 8 over minus 16? So our R here is equal to what? Minus 1 over 2. What is this? This is minus 1 over 2. So this is a geometric series. So if you want the sum of 10 terms, you know to find the sum of the geometric series, Sn is equal to A times 1 minus R is n over 1 minus R, where your R is not equal to 1. So S of 10 terms will be equal to A times 1 minus half is 10 over 1 minus negative half. So your sum of 10 terms will be equal to the answer of that. So let's find the answer of that. Your A is the first term, it's equal to 32. Answer is 341 over 16, which one can say it's 21, 5 over 16. So that's your answer. I say it's 21.31. This is your sum of 10 terms. And I believe we're done with this question. Hope it makes sense to you, as it does to me.